guys, welcome back to Overtakes. This is Cal.
And this is Misfit.
And we are here with our Stage 1 Championship preview. We're not going to talk too much about what's already happened this week. We're going to save that for tonight when we do our live broadcast on Twitch. Check us out then. It's going to be around 10:30 Eastern Time. So check that out. We're going to really go over the whole weekend. But this is just basically a preview of the upcoming championship game today between Vancouver and San Francisco.
This one should be fun.
Yes.
As much fun as we all wanted, New York to play Vancouver. They went the route of Peyton Manning and the Indianapolis Colts and did what they do in the playoffs, and that's gag on a little something here and there. And
yeah.
I'm going to preface this by saying it's not Nene's fault. That wasn't a gag. We'll talk about that tonight, too. I watched that 1,000 times. So we were talking about it. I'm like, I went through every scenario. I'm like, well, if they did this, and this, nope, this happened. It is what it is, guys.
Right.
It wasn't a joke.
There were so many other opportunities and so many other things that they failed in before that.
Yeah. Jonak had a clutch on with May to even make this even mildly competitive. That
between
match.
Jonak and Meko.
Yeah, Meko too. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, without that clutch on Volskaya, we're talking 3-0.
Yeah.
Anyway, so let's talk about tonight. All right, neither one of these teams have lost a map yet in the playoffs. Sheer domination by both of them.
Right.
And
I mean, this is kind of what we were expecting New York to do, is what San Francisco's doing. And honestly, I don't know, you and I have been thinking that San Francisco were going to be a lot better than they were performing to start in this stage. I think it was just more getting their chemistry together, figuring out the meta and that kind of thing.
And getting together with Violet, I think incorporating him in and playing with him and seeing, it takes a bit. And it's and they had a rough schedule too.
They really did.
But if you look at them mechanically and just all of the aspects, they are the number. We have them number 3, and we're not the only ones. I mean, they have 3 losses, but it doesn't matter.
Right.
I mean, they were a lower seed than Toronto, but in most power rankings, they were a couple higher than Toronto.
Exactly. Because Toronto had an easier schedule.
Right.
San Francisco had a harder schedule, so that kind of hurt them. And then just the talent-wise, San Francisco has a much better roster. As much as we both love Toronto. Right.
And it's just, they're better.
San Francisco just has a better roster.
Yeah. And one of the guys that's better that everyone seems to be slamming, including us to an extent we were a little bit, is Super. Now, if you look at his stats, he's above Bumper, pretty much, who is, everybody's favorite, Reinhardt, and Fissure, who the same way, they're just crazy motherfuckers out there swinging the hammer and all that stuff. But Super's right up there with just on all the stats. He's number 1, number 2, and he doesn't die.
Right. If you're looking at the stats, the most important one where Super is better than Bumper is his deaths per 10 minute. Yeah. And he is in first by a landslide. Yeah. And I mean, that's huge, because if your Reinhardt is dead, then that's a huge loss that your team has, and you're at a big disadvantage.
Yeah, and
obviously, with the way that we've seen Bumper play, he's a super hyper-aggressive Reinhardt, and he makes plays that work for his team, but it's just you can't, I mean, not every team's going to be able to play that way.
No, and both of these teams are similar in the fact that they have talent in every spot.
Yes.
And another underrated, actually, to go on the whole San Francisco's tank line's underrated. Trey Kelvin eats more fucking grabs than any human alive ever.
Oh yeah, I fully agree. I think as much as flack as Super gets, for not being good, just because at the start of the season, even we said he looked horrible to start the season. When they lost, it was because of him. But when they win, it's because of him at the same time.
But I also think he learned from his mistakes and is a coachable kid.
Exactly.
And, I think he's dedicated to being better. Not to say that other guys won't change their style.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He's all right, I need to do this, this, and this to make myself better. And he did. And meanwhile,
absolutely.
Choi Hyobin is just over there doing what he does, I guess. To be honest.
Oh yeah, Choi Hyobin has quietly been one of the best divas in the league, and no one is talking about it. And how many grabs did he eat against Toronto yesterday, and then or on Friday, and then Philly yesterday?
Yeah, I know.
It's ridiculous.
And it's not like he was eating grabs against, Washington. I mean, you're talking guys that are playing at high level Zarya's here.
Yeah, we're talking about Ivy and Carpe. What the hell? Carpe. Good lord.
It's one of those days. We both caught something at work, so we're both kind of, if you notice we sound a little different, it's because, when you work in the general public, you tend to catch things.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, so, but yeah, I think they're a good matchup for Bumper and Janu. I think that's going to be fun to watch. I think this whole match is going to be fun because Vancouver just annihilated everyone too, like they weren't even there.
Oh yeah, that's the craziest part. We haven't even talked about Vancouver, and then the biggest craziness from either of these teams is that neither one has lost a map in these playoffs yet.
Yeah, I know. Not even a map.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Seoul going into that match against Vancouver, we're like, oh, maybe they can do something against them.
Right.
No. Good luck.
No, they could not.
See, but San Francisco can match their aggression. I think people aren't. I think this Goats is going away. I think if it was a more or less in the next meta, but I think if people got more of a second shot against them, they would be ready for it. Mm-hmm. I don't think they would wipe. They wouldn't be going 7-0 in every stage. Is what I'm getting at. I think people would figure out some things. I mean, you can watch tape and stuff like that. But until you get into the fight with them, I don't think you're going to figure out exactly what they do.
No, you're really not.
And that's the one bonus we have here. These two teams played each other. They're going to be ready for whatever the other guy has. And they're going to play pretty much straight goats, both of them. Maybe with some variations here and there.
Right, we might see a little bit of somber goats here and there, but it's mostly just going to be
Winston
straight up. Yeah.
Winston or
that's
Ryan.
The most variation is going to be either Winston or Ryan. And it's, I really can't even fathom what's going to happen in this game because the game that they did already play against each other was a really close match.
Yeah, I mean, it was a 4-0, but it was the closest 4-0 you will ever see.
Oh, absolutely.
To be brilliant.
Banner agrees.
Yeah. Banner's mad because we're trying to pump San Francisco up a little bit here.
Right.
Back to pre-Banner voicing his opinion of... was he saying goats?
He might have been.
Sounded like he was saying goats. Well, he's going to get that in this one.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, back to the point that they played each other, but it's the closest 4-0 you'll ever see.
Actually, it was 3-1, but
3-1.
It was basically over by the time they got to that last map.
I don't know, I keep thinking
it was
3-1,
really, it was crazy close. And San Francisco just cleans up a few mistakes, and they will absolutely be able to compete with this team.
Yeah.
And
I think they might have learned some stuff, too, because they were punishing, in that first matchup, Vancouver was absolutely punishing Sinatra for doing crazy flanky stuff.
Yes.
And if they play tighter, I think, with, not going a little too nuts, because Bumper's going to go nuts. For sure. If you just keep that in mind and not necessarily don't pay attention to it and just deal with it when it happens and focus on the rest of them, because I think they use him to cause chaos in that you're looking for him to do a flank shatter or he's just going to come running at you with a fucking hammer swinging and you're not ready for that. And then the other guys go to work.
Right.
Like Xiaomin Su, who's an underrated Zarya, in my opinion. Maybe not, but it feels like it.
Right, exactly.
Because everyone's talking about Sinatra or Ivy or, even DeFran. When this guy's, probably him and Sinatra are the two best.
Yeah. It's going to be insane to watch. I really don't even know. Like, this is a match that on each side, like, you've got Bumper and Super, who are pretty much like 1 and 3 as far as tanks go. Then you've got Choi Hyobin and Janu, who are probably...
They're both top 5.
Yeah, both top 5. Then you've got Haxel and Rascal.
Who are...
No one is talking about Rascal.
Rascal's playing a great fucking Brigida.
His Brigida has been fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the quietest... whoever gets stuck in Brigida is just basically in Brigida hell.
Yeah. But you can either embrace it or you don't.
There are times where, I mean, it makes such a huge difference when you're not dying and like when you're staying alive and really producing, like you are quietly making a huge difference for your team.
Yeah, and Haxel does that for Vancouver too. I think
absolutely.
Most of their the sustained fights are usually because of him.
Right.
And then
then you got Siomin Su versus Sinatra, which is like, I mean, that's Sinatra's hands down the best Zarya in the league at this point.
Yeah, Siomin Su's not far off.
Yeah, Siomin Su is right there. I mean, the game against Seoul, he was an absolute monster.
Yeah, he was an animal, and you can just keep going. I mean,
right. Top to bottom, each of these both of these teams are neck and neck with talent.
Yeah.
And
the only advantage, I would say, big advantage, just straight up player to player wise, if you're doing, going down in position by position, would be Slime over Moth, but not by a ton.
Yeah, not by a lot.
Moth has been playing.
Slime is just absurdly good, but
Moth is really good too. I mean, there's been a lot of times where he's clutched, some boops in there and things like that. And,
right, because even looking at Twilight and Violet, like, both of those guys have been neck and neck. I mean, Violet started off a little shaky when he first came in, but that was just, he's playing with a new team on the big stage, all of that. But over the last couple of weeks, I mean, he has really built up a good synergy with this team, and he looks incredible.
Obviously, we don't know what to expect map-wise.
Right.
In this. I mean,
really the only thing we can know for sure is that it's going to start off on the map order of what it's going to be. Right. But that's about it.
Yeah, so, they're going to pick whichever, maps are strongest. Depends on who loses the first map and all that stuff.
Well, don't they get to pick...
someone gets to pick the first
I think it's the higher seed gets to pick the first map.
So Vancouver would pick the first map.
And I think, let's see, they picked... they seem to be picking Busan.
Yeah.
And they're like the only team that is picking Busan.
I think them and...
they picked Ilios to start the game against Boston, too,
that's true.
So who knows?
Yeah. I mean, Nepal, Ilios, and Busan.
Yeah. So they could end up picking Nepal today. Who knows?
Yeah, they could just be going through them. We don't really... It doesn't matter.
Right. Like, we're just going to mash on any of them.
Yeah, so it doesn't... Yeah. We'll just play the map. I mean, unless they had a calculated... And there's a certain way that San Francisco plays. I don't know. They're both really good on control maps anyway. So
right.
I think that's going to be... those are going to be exciting. I think the whole map's going to be fairly exciting. So... Let's dive into who we think is going to win. I mean, because we're just doing a short one, guys, and then just stay tuned tonight. We're going to go over a whole bunch of stuff, like the whole weekend, 10:30 tonight. But we wanted to get you guys in and get our opinion on the final, at least. We didn't have any, obviously we didn't do anything yesterday for the semifinals, but it really wasn't necessary. Right. Unfortunately, I thought the Philly match would have been better, but. Yeah,
I was hoping so too, but...
San Francisco's playing beastly right now. It's just kind of hard. And same thing with Vancouver. So, what are you thinking?
I'm leaning towards Vancouver. I think they win in 6.
Yeah, I pretty much exactly feel the same. I feel the same exact way, actually. I think Vancouver 4-2.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be a runaway for any stretch. I think that, it's going to be 3-2 going into map 6, and then they're going to, do what they do.
Right, exactly. Like it's gonna be really close. It's gonna be a lot of back and forth to start, and then there's just gonna be a point where I feel like Vancouver just kind of wears them out.
Yeah, I think so too. Because that's a long stretch of matches too.
It really is.
I really wish they would. I guess you can't restructure the halftime because it's going to be. I don't know. So it's like you get it after the first 2 maps. Do they do it after they get to like map 5? Do they give them a break too? Maybe.
I feel like they got to give them maybe like a slightly longer break, like let them go to the bathroom type of thing.
As long as Jonak isn't eating hot noodles and has to take a shit in the middle. That was an awesome.
Or apparently for Atlanta, that's when you gotta feed DeFran.
Yeah.
I was hungry, dude.
That's why
I couldn't perform. Started getting hungry.
What did someone put a sandwich up there for him?
Right.
Why doesn't one of the Atlanta fans just run to the fucking snack bar and just fucking run a burger up to him? Here you go, dude. Throw him a bag of McDonald's from the fucking crowd. Oh, now I can play, dude.
Oh, good. I'm so good now, dude.
I'm gonna pop off. Anyway, so yeah, we both got it 4-2, Vancouver. It could go. It could go the other way too.
It really could. I do think that if San Francisco wins, it's going to be
a burner.
Yeah, it's going to be like goes to match 7, and it's going to come down to the very last minute type of thing.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for our final Stage 1 finals preview. So thanks a lot for joining us. To all you guys that have been with us and on YouTube, thanks a lot. And if you're new to us, please hit a like, hit a subscribe. If you guys are listening on various podcast things like Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you get your podcasts from, please give us a rating. We appreciate that a lot. We also, as we said in the last episode, we started a Patreon. So the link is down there, and there's going to be some fun stuff that we're going to be doing on there coming up. I might do some things, writing. We might do some things, where we analyze some videos. Going to do some other stuff coming up on there. So definitely keep your eyes peeled for that and go check it out. So thanks a lot. Enjoy the match today, and we will see you tonight at 10:30 Eastern for our back cap stream. We're going to go over the playoffs, and then next week we'll go over Stage 1 and our thoughts on Stage 1.
We'll catch you guys in the next one. Later.